Well done, well defended, excellent. Goal, one each.
This is an example of showing and telling to outline the practice and the principles of press and cover, adding a scoring system to increase the motivation and commitment.
So if you don't get across to me quick enough, what might I do? Yep, so I might be out of play across. That's gone out of play, so that's a point to you.
This is around observing the session and the performance, supported by praise and comments.
Good interceptions, that's one. Yep, can you put some disguise in it? Okay, that's an interception, that's two.
Using Q&A to review players' understanding, it gives the players a chance to sort of peer review.
Judgment, go on, what do you mean?
Because within like the defenders, you've got to like judge what body shape they've got if they're going to play forward or if they're going to play back again.
Brilliant. So you're scanning and picking up the body language of the players on the ball and the flight of the ball. So you're making a judgment. Excellent. 30 seconds each. Again, keep your score, see how many you get. So that if they get the ball through, you go back to 0. Okay, so ramping up the intensity of that. All right. Okay. So
observation of the practice to see if they could improve and or apply some of the discussion points that they made in the previous review.
Okay, that's an interception. Good. And change. Yep. 30 seconds gone.
A Q&A to review with some more technical details added in.
Right, so the angle in which I retreat as a pair, so if we're working as a pair and it goes across, I now have to just come off at an angle so that you're now in there so they can't play between us. Because if I come back in a straight line, they can still play past me. Okay, so dropping off at a slight angle.
Linking the learning from the previous practices, Q&A to check understanding of recognising that their roles will change as the ball moves.
So can we recognise then, when am I the presser, when am I the cover player, and when am I balancing off? Yep, and it's going to change like that, isn't it, as the ball moves?
This is a use of a walkthrough to guide the learning. The coach's voice can drive the session, but be mindful not to commentate. The technical and tactical information is there to direct players' behaviour, to encourage the outcomes for the purpose of press, cover and balance.
He can't, so what happened is that you're in here and you're going back in a straight line and you're opening up the space for him to play behind you. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay, so if you get yourself on the ball again, Charlie, play the ball back in there and do the same run and let's see you do that cover. Good, that's better. Go on then, up to the ball, play. Good. Get to the ball, good. Good, can you win it? That's the danger. Just take the ball again. That we become passive rather than being proactive and aggressive with the press. So we want to be aggressive with the press. So as soon as the ball goes across, and I'm the man that's the nearest man to go, I've got to put some pressure on him. Because what will you two do behind me? You'll be covering me, won't you? Yeah, you'll be tucking round. Okay? So we've got like an arrowhead. Because otherwise, if we do that and we become flat, what does that open up? Spaces to play through us, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, are you ready? Let me have it. Press, play. Good. Now drop back in. Good. Excellent. There's your steal. Ooh.
Managing the opposition to create a different performance problem linked to the previous learning.
So if you've got it there, what could you do to make it harder for them? Brilliant. So you could come in here, like Ian talked about. Now, where might you go, Ollie? You might go somewhere else, yeah, and give him a problem. Great. Is that going to be harder for them to close you down? Okay. Play from you.
This is a good example of an observation and feedback intervention.
I'm seeing one or two of you just drifting. As the ball goes away from you, you're switching off and your man's covering round you. So what do you need to be able to see? The man and the ball. So you need to be able to see the ball and your man. If you can't see your man, there's a problem, okay? Because they might just play him behind you. Yeah, get across. Well done, Ollie. Good. Talk to him, Ollie. Great block. Yes, pink ball, keepers. Stay with the runner. Good. Good.
Praising achievement, what gets praised gets repeated.
Well done, well defended, excellent. Goal, one each. Think about what we did in that practice there about who's the person going up to the ball, who's covering, who's giving the balance, who's communicating. Are you ready? Play. Go, 1-0. Yes, from you, blue. Yeah, who's the nearest player? Yeah, are you staying with runners? Are you staying with good interception? Blue ball. Take the ball back to the keeper. So who can see the whole picture? Right. Well, you're talking to Fab in front of you. Right. So Fab's getting locked on here, and he's pulling away from him. So you've got to talk to him and say, right shoulder, Fab. So then he can adjust himself, because he just played that in, and now they're suddenly a 2v1. All right. Good pressure. Can you get your foot in? Be aggressive with your press. Good. Can you win it? Good, Fab.
This is an example of rewarding a characteristic we want our players to have.
Great block, son. Well played. Yeah, you can have that for your bravery. Yep.
Praising and highlighting good play.
You've done excellent to cut that passing lane off, so he saved you a job. But good that you're trying to make that recovery run. Excellent. Okay, so what was the difference between this game and that game?
This game is shot in goals.
Right, so what did that mean in terms of defending?
It was harder.
Right, so you had to be tight, you had to get your blocks in. So
This is Q&A to gain the players' understanding and how the different games got some different emphasis of outcomes, making a key point around the value of communication. It also highlights how coaches are collaborating with the feedback to the players.
So what other things you felt came out, Dave, from the defending?
So it was the runner, the
Yeah.
problem that we had with the runner,
Yeah.
because we had good shape,
Yes.
we had no communication, and we didn't check the shoulder enough to see where the runner was. But apart from that, the shape was good based on the first practice.
Brilliant. So that is something now that you've got to be thinking about, and I mentioned it a couple of times in here about communicating with the people in front of you. So you are in charge, you can see everything in front of you, so start talking to the people in front of you. It makes life so much easier when you've got a voice behind you telling you when to press and when not to. Yeah, does that make sense?
A walkthrough to provide a visual to help the players understand the structure of the game, but also reminding them of the focus point of defending.
So just to start with, the first two pinks come out. First two pinks. All you're going to do is pass the ball to each other until we get within shooting distance. Yep. Good. You take the shot. Take the shot. Okay. Now, 3 blues come out with the ball, so make sure you know who's coming out. And now we defend as a 2. Okay, so you come up this end. Good. Keep coming. Get your shot in. Good. So now we get 2 more come out, so we're playing 4v3 going that way.
This is a show and tell intervention. The concept of doing 2 jobs might be new to players at this age, so just introducing them to that idea.
Try and get in a position where you can do 2 jobs. So I'm blocking that passing lane, and if he plays it in there, now I can really get at him and hopefully intercept if I can, and do go back to the first practice that we did. Does that make sense? Play. Good. Get across. Yeah, can you do 2 jobs? Block that passing lane. Good. Well done, Pinks. So what are some of the triggers that we might be looking for when the ball, a slow pass, a bobbly pass, one that's lofted in the air perhaps, a bad touch, all those things might give you what? A trigger to try and win the ball back. Okay.
This is about checking the understanding of trigger moments for the players, to when to actually press, what things might happen that they could take an inspiration from and be ready to try and pounce and win the ball back.
Good. Good, Frankie. Good. Tight, Ollie. Good. Good. Can you win that? Ooh. Well done, Frankie. Right. Go on then, play. Frankie, when he plays it past you, what have you got to do with the angle of your run, your recovery?
An individual intervention without stopping the whole practice. Sometimes we call these drive-bys. Just a little quick reminder and check of understanding of an individual.
So what do we do when we lose the ball? What's the reaction for our team, Pinks? Right, so what are we trying to do first? To try and delay the attack, aren't we? What does that mean by delaying? Either force them back or slow them down. Wait for your teammates to come back. So that means you might need to drop off and get back into shape. So it's maybe not possible to press all the time. If they've got time on the ball, you might just need to drop and let them play a pass or two to give yourself time to get back in shape.
Checking understanding on the transition and the key skill of communicating to the players around you to help prevent the opposition penetrating.
What you got to defend first? The goal. So what do you want to be, narrow or wide? Narrow. So get yourself nice and narrow. Keeper, talk to them, okay? Tell them where the strikers are coming from and try and narrow up and then decide who's going to go and press the ball and who's going to be the cover. Yep, so you need a voice. Just tell me some of the things that you experienced in the practice before.
This is the debrief. By having a visual tactics table or a tactics board helps you to actually support the words that you're saying and allows the players to really get a clear picture in their minds as to what the purpose of what you're trying to achieve. The key words were also written out on the board. If you can have the clear 3 objectives for your session, it reinforces all of those messages.
So we talked about pressing and then this cover. What's the key thing about when the ball goes across?
He has to get over as well.
Right, so as the ball's travelling and this player's travelling, what am I doing here? So you're coming back at an angle rather than in a straight line. Why?
Because
they can't pass it inside.
Right, so they can't pass between you. Yep, great. Okay, so that's a really basic principle to understand, and we took that into, or we're going to take it into this next game, which was the 3v3 and 4v4 games. Yep, and so the same principles apply, but we're going to have bigger numbers. Yep, so you've got them recognise when am I pressing, am I the presser or am I the coverer or am I the balance player? So it changes as the ball changes, yep, and it happens really quickly. But if anybody switches off, what happens? They play through you, don't they? Yeah? If you don't do it quite right, the best teams will play through you.